to Saxthorpe Farms. In fact, actually, we are on the Oaks for the next little while. We've pretty much done most of the jobs we need to do in the short term on Saxthorpe. So it's time to earn some cash because we are flat broke. So £360 is all of the money I have for the farm. So we can't afford to buy more fur until we've earned some cash, or we would have needed to take a loan out. I didn't want to do that, so I came over with about 1,000 litres in this spreader. The other one's got about 2,000 litres, and the herbicide sprayer has got herbicide in, but we can't afford to do much, so I picked a smallish field, hoping that this 1,000 litres will finish this contract. That will let us earn some cash. We can buy some fur, we can progress and make some cash. You know, we did make decent money on here last time. I made something like 300 grand. So, you know, then we have a £400,000 combine to buy in the next few months for harvest. So, and I would still like to buy more land as well. Yeah, a bit of a tank slapper there, but 180 litres to run this strip of the field to finish the contract. We should be okay, I think. No. Spoiler, I know. I've already played this quite a while ago. Yeah, so I'm on the road. It's actually night 2 of being away. I recorded the commentary of this video last night. Wasn't really happy with it. And I was kind of umming and ahhing about whether to redo it or not, and decided to redo it tonight because I was going to record a video for the patrons this evening, but so we did manage to finish this contract, but the save game for it is on my desktop, which isn't here. So yeah, just over £6.5 grand for that contract, so couldn't do that. I've been working on trying to put together a tutorial for, came from a question someone asked. Someone asked about using Proceed and Courseplay, because I've talked about it occasionally. I've used it in a few Let's Plays, but I realised I don't have a specific video on it, I don't think. So I was doing a bit of playing about with that earlier, and didn't actually get it to work the way I wanted. And I was a bit brain dead from being on a course all day to sit and work it out. So that's going to be a job for another day. Yeah, it's not been the best week for videos. You know, this seems to be a theme at the moment. I have been away for 2 nights with a very long training course in the middle of it. And I always have this hope that when I'm away, I'm going to record a lot, get ahead on making videos, hopefully get some uploaded. You know, the hotel I was in last night advertised free Wi-Fi. Oh, it was worse than dial-up. Geez, I got into the hotel, connected to the free Wi-Fi, wanted to run a quick speed test, and it took several minutes for speedtest.net to load. It's never a good sign. I don't think I could get YouTube to load. I struggled to get Discord to load. So yeah, wasn't going to upload any videos with that connection. So I've spoken about getting a little yard over here. This is one of the plots of land I'm thinking about. This is about 30 grand. It's up near the store. We could stick a couple of sheds in, and maybe a fuel buy point, repair point, some other bits and pieces, make ourselves a nice little yard to kind of establish ourselves on the Oaks for doing contracting as we need to. The other option is this random shed that I spotted in the corner of field 53. The issue is it's attached to field 53, which costs about 900 grand, and I don't want to spend that because I don't actually want a field. But what I was wondering is whether we just lease this bit off the farmer, that little corner, and so we could use the shed. We could put a couple of bits and pieces in there. So my kind of dilemma there is, how much do we pay to access that bit of the field? Yeah, so day 1 of contracting done. We've got bunch of contracts to claim. So the couple of big fertilizing contracts done, the big spraying contract done, and you can see we've made about £228,500. So £75,000 worth of consumables and 300 grand worth of contracts. So pretty nice. Definitely helped out the old bank balance. It's the next day. It's the 1st of June. There are no more weeding or herbicide contracts, but there are a lot of fert contracts left over here. There are weeding, but I'm not going to do those. They're not good. So what we're going to do is I'm going to bring the AgroStar back to Saxthorpe, as you can see, and I've left the 2.7 series with the Breedles over on the Oaks. And while we do some work here, they're going to be doing spreading, fertilizing contracts. So I thought we might as well bring the AgroStar back. We can do some fert spraying on our fields, which I do need to get done. And late stage fertilization, it seems like a good idea to spray fert instead of spread solid fert. And actually, kind of cost wise, liquid fert is the most cost effective. So per unit of nitrogen. So we're going to stick the narrows on the AgroStar and run the 3 fields of fert that we have to do. So yeah, it's been 2 of the hottest days that we've had in the UK in quite a while, and neither hotel room that I've had in the last 2 days has had aircon. So that's been fun. And what I'm doing here is pressing Control I instead of I to unload. I want to get the little bit of herbicide out. Yeah, I had no idea it was going to be so hot these last 2 days. And kind of annoyingly, I've been in the same area because I was visiting one of our sites for this training course. But I couldn't get 2 consecutive nights in one hotel that was within the budget that we're allowed to spend on hotels when we're traveling. So yeah, was in a Premier Inn last night, which was I say cheap. They're not cheap sometimes. It's over £100 for the night. It's not cheap. It's a basic hotel. Tonight I'm in a travel lodge, which is more basicer. It's good English there. Again, it's about £100 a night. So yeah, just doing a quick check on the sunflowers, and I think these are okay for fur. I got a bit confused because there was a patch in the middle that looked different because the soil's different, so it needs less nitrogen. So it's silty clay rather than loam, so it needs a lot less nitrogen. So we have field 10, field 9 and field 23 to spray, so it's quite a lot of spraying to do. Field 23 will come on to. I had a I want to say fun time, but frustrating time with that field, and an interesting feature. I'm not sure if it's this sprayer, which is a mod, but it has See and Spray as an option, or if it's See and Spray. I think it's the mod, but we'll talk about it when we get there. Yeah. I've spoken about kind of video plans for the week. So the video that I had planned to do, which I'm not going to do now, and that might frustrate some of you because I think some people might enjoy it, is the tire pressure script by Wopster. It's written for FS19, but it works in FS22 without any mods. So, and we were talking about it on a recent Terra live stream because I was using a tractor that had it installed. And so on that video, or on that stream, I had said I would not do a video on it because it felt like something that was going to get a lot of questions. You know, I've tried and it doesn't work. And those questions are really hard to help people with because quite often it's because what they're trying to do is beyond their ability, and quite hard to say that direct to people sometimes. So I originally said would not do a video on it, and then I was looking at it, so it doesn't look that hard. And so yesterday, was it yesterday? It really was yesterday. It's been such a long day today. when I got to the hotel yesterday, I sat for about an hour. And some tractors it worked for, some tractors it didn't work for. The issue, I think, is that you have to create a custom specialization for the tire pressure script for that bit of code is included in the examples. And then you have to create a custom vehicle class, and I could not get that to work on some mods. The mods that I got it to work on, they were already custom vehicle classes, and I was adding the tire pressure to it. When I had to create, I just couldn't get it to work. So my thought was, even if I spend another hour working out how to get this to work, I would probably just have got lucky. And if I'm finding it this hard, I can guarantee that there's going to be so many people that struggle with it. And part of what I'm doing at the moment for my sanity is avoiding videos that create those kind of levels of support requests. So I might have another look at it, and if I can get so I understand it better, so I can explain it better, then maybe it will come back, but it's not going to for a while. So it's a bit like, I know some of you have asked about the videos about the extra functionality of VCA and enhanced vehicle, and again, I've spent a bit of time trying to get my head around them, but there's not great documentation for those extra features. Enhanced vehicle is actually someone else who's got a really good tutorial. If you search on YouTube FS22 enhanced vehicle, you'll probably find it. It's really good. It's where I learned some of the stuff that I use. So go watch his tutorial. It's really good. For VCA, there's really not a lot of information about the extra functionality, and because I don't use it in everyday gameplay, it doesn't naturally, I don't naturally know how to explain how to use it. And before I did the tutorial on using VCA, it's been a mod that I've used forever. I used it in FS19, I used it in FS22 so as soon as it was released. It's been a core of my must-have mods forever, so that was pretty easy. Enhanced vehicle I was using before I did the tutorial because it seemed like a cool mod. I wanted to have a play with it. Oh, really cool tractor in the sales. This is definitely a must ignore. Good old Antonio Carrero pack. Yay Giants DLCs. Hey, we've got the Oxbow one coming soon. Let's get hyped. Yeah, so those two videos again, I'm not sure when I'm going to get around to making those. It kind of depends when I have some moments of inspiration to sit and work out how they work. Tends to be how these things go, you know. So I was kind of struggling for ideas for tutorials. So I like to do one a week if I can. And then someone asked this question about courseplay and proceed, and I was like, yeah, that could be a video. So we'll see. So I've used it before. The results are okay, but not great. They're not as good as doing it manually. And doing it manually, you get a better result. But if you just want to get the overall effect, courseplay can do an okay job. So, but there are features like in this field to get these tram lines. I was turning the seeder off, but leaving it down so it would put the tram line in without removing the seed, without overseeding some of the other tram lines, and you won't get that effect with using courseplay. So it's kind of a compromise. Yeah. So hopefully this week there will have been, because I'm not sure what day this video is going to go out. It depends when I can get a decent internet connection. A Terra live stream. I don't know what we will be covering because there's basically a whole flurry of stuff going on, which I can't really tell you about. So we'll see what we can talk about in the stream. There are some things that I'm going to bring up in that stream. There are some slight frustrations with Maze Plus and how people think about Maze Plus and We've sort of mentioned it recently, but kind of been inspired again to talk about that. I don't know if you guys have seen that Enhanced Animal System has had an awesome update this week. So, kind of headline summary, it includes real breeding now. So I've not had a chance to play with it yet, even though I've had access to it for a few weeks, because Chisel is part of the farming agency and he shared it before it went to Mod Hub. Just didn't get time to play with it. So now you can have the vet come in and do artificial insemination, so like normal, but that can fail now, so it's not guaranteed. Or if you've got a matching bull in the pen, it will breed your cows for you. So that's really cool. So I've not had a chance to play with it yet. Not really sure of all the details of how it works, but that's such a big update. So yeah, at some point I'll have a look at it. I need to update, so I'm using it on a few saves and I need to update those so that we get that effect. It means I'm going to need to buy a bull on Glenlartham because I don't have a bull on there. We only have heifers because we were using artificial insemination, or how the base game worked basically. But I think we'll get a bull on there. That will be really cool. I need to experiment with, I did ask Jaizel, but I think it got lost in translation, and because my internet's really bad, I can't sit and have conversations on Discord at the moment. So, well, I've kind of been able from my Discord a bit because my phone connection is even so slow that it's not good. So I'm not sure if you can have any cow. So you could have, say, Holstein heifers and a Limousin bull, or whether it has to be Holstein and Holstein. I asked the question and I phrased the question badly, and the answer I got was yes, but yes could have meant two different things essentially. So a bit of lost in translation, a bit of me not structuring the question very well, and me having bad internet, meaning I'm finding it really frustrating to try and have conversations on Discord. So I'll try and get that clarified, or test it, or you guys might have tested it and you can stick a comment below. So, it doesn't have to be me all the time. So we're going to give the tractor a quick wash, because when I was doing in camp, the windows were filthy, and it has done a lot of work. It essentially did a week of spraying herbicide over on the oaks, because, a day is like 10 days in real time. So it probably needs a wash. We did give it a service when we got back. And we're going to go over to field 9 now. And I could have done at this point I'm going to be putting on 24 meter booms instead of 18 meter booms. So I guess they're 12 instead of 9 minus a bit because of the width of the thingy. So they're probably actually like 11 meter booms instead of 8 meter booms. Anyway, we're going to put it so we've got 12 meter working width, 24 meter working width, because the field 23 was seeded on 24 meter tram lines. So we're going to make that change before we go up there. But I'd forgotten that I didn't put tram lines in field 9. So we could have made the change now. And to be honest, I've got to drive back to the yard to refill anyway. So it would have saved a bit of time in how long it took me to spray this field. But that didn't take that long, because as you'll see in a second, when I was seeding, and I forgot because it's a while ago, I ran on perfect level for the headland and about half the field. So I've got about half the field to spray. The other thing that I realised sometime through doing this job is I had planned to use the crop scanner, crop sensor, to get perfectly perfect fertilization. Now, that would have meant bringing back one of the 7 series to put the passive sensors on, because we need the front tank. And I kind of, when I remembered, I was like, actually, I'm not worried about the perfectly perfect yield. We're using Bushel Plus, so we're getting 5 or 10% higher yield anyway. something like that. So we really, it doesn't matter that we're not completely maximizing everything. I know some of you want me to really, really maximize every possible advantage on here, whether it's dynamic field prices or, we're using the discount from bets contracts. But I'm kind of happy with where we are at the moment. We've got a decent amount of kit. I would like a bigger tractor and some slightly bigger field working kit, but really we can get by. We've got the header for the bigger combine, and we're going to have the bigger combine for harvest. And the other bit that I'm thinking about is we now have the potential to take a £2 million loan out. That's a lot of cash. The issue would be repaying the loan, because we don't have animals at the moment. We don't have a monthly source of income bar contracts. Now, we're just heading down to the Oaks, we can make a lot of cash while fertilizing contracts are about. I'm guessing seeding and harvesting will pay well over there as well. So I have a couple of thoughts. One, we hit the loan hard by the really big field that's just in front of us. That big field is about £1 million. The issue is it's got potatoes in at the moment, so we'd have to buy a potato harvester, so that'd be like £1.5 million. Or we go a bit more conservative and we buy the 2 fields to the left, so kind of sitting under where the precision farming bar is. There are 2 fields which are kind of a natural extension to our farm. The soil quality is not great, but they've got decent crops in them, and we could buy them and harvest them and get the crop off them. We could buy them soon, we could fertilize them, get the crop off them. So kind of thinking that, I'm hoping that another day or so of the 2.7 series doing FERT contracts over on the Oaks, we'll have enough to buy the combine, so we won't have to borrow money for that. We own the header. We do have a loan still, but it's not ridiculous for where we are. So I'm kind of thinking that maybe we do that. So we're up to field 23 now, and this is where things get interestingly frustrating, something like that. So we've got 24 meter booms on now, or 24 meter working with. I also added see and spray because I figured we're going to need that, because I am going to do the cheaty drive into the field to max out the bonus. It was 30 odd grand. I think we're going to make that money back with the better environmental bonus with the yield that we're going to get. But I have a whole video saying why that's not worth doing, but I think in this case it is. The thing with see and spray is it also affects fertilizing, and so that was me checking. I think we might have a harvest in July. We'll see. As we go around the field, you will see that see and spray turns off sections of the boom where nitrogen isn't needed, which is great. We're saving some nitrogen. What I found is that when I had this set at 24 meter working width on VCA and running in the tram lines, it was leaving gaps. I then reduced it to 21 meters, so I ignored the tram lines, still leaving gaps. So we were overlapping the boom and we were still getting gaps. And I could see that the nozzles on the sort of overlapping boom were turning off. And I think what was happening is that they were turning off too soon. I've only realized this when I was recording the commentary, and what I'm going to do, because this is a mod, this is part of the Kubota mod pack, not the DLC, so I can go in and look, and I want to look and see how the spray width and the see and spray work areas match up, because I think there might be a difference. I think that might be the problem. So basically, when I finish, this field looks a mess from a FERT point of view. I could have fixed it by going and getting rid of see and spray, but I didn't realize until I'd pretty much finished. In fact, I'm not sure I realized until yesterday when I was recording the first version of commentary for this video. But anyway, I could come back over this field and fertilize it again. I'm not going to. we screwed up or the technology screwed up, we're going to have to eat that screw up, you know. I don't think in the real world, and someone can correct me, but if a real farmer had this issue, I don't think they would run over the field again to get those few missed bits. The diesel and time cost just isn't worth it. Now, we have plenty of time because we really, apart from just quickly running into each field to get the max See and Spray herbicide bonus, we're done until harvest on here. I don't think I'm going to do another video of doing contracts on the oaks. I'll just do some of those in the background. When I get bored, I'll bring the tractors back. That might be as soon as the end of the 1st of June. We'll see. I would like to earn enough to buy the combine. So we spent a bit on upgrading the sprayer. So we do need to earn a bit more. You know, we probably need to make about 300 grand. Which we could do in a couple of days working down there. So, you know, next video I think we'll sort out the environmental bonus. That might be quite a quick, short video. We'll see. Next week is equally nuts. So, pre-warning. Next week I am away for 2 days again. It would have been 3, but the teenager is off to university 2 days earlier than we originally planned. Because of her autism and other neurodivergent issues, the university let her go a couple of days earlier when it's less busy so she can get settled in before things get manic. But it coincided with me being at a quarterly work meeting, which is the other side of the country. So, yeah, we've had to kind of shuffle plans about a bit, and next week's going to be a lot of driving, and that might mean that it's another week of kind of patchy content. It really frustrates me. I know some of you don't care. Some of you are like, make videos when you can make videos, but I want to do videos when I plan to do them, and when I can't, it annoys me. So yeah. I just kind of, I don't know what next week will look like, to be honest. So I'm away Tuesday and Wednesday night. Thursday is going to be a very long day. Friday is going to be a very long day. So, yeah. I guess, forewarning Kartek, next Friday I am not going to be able to do multiplayer. Maybe I've told you that before. But, oh well. So yeah, I'm going to jump ahead in a minute and you'll see the spray effect that I was talking about. Yeah, I was getting really frustrated while I was playing, and quite often with these things, when you're in the moment, or you know, in the game, and you've got an issue, I don't really call it a bug, it's an issue. You quite often are too close to see what's causing the problem. And I saw it afterwards. And the reason I say bug, sorry, issue, not bug, is a lot of people say such and such has got bugs in it, when you're going to fix it. And they're not bugs. They're either intentional features or something else has bugs, and you're just blaming, you know, another badly coded mod. You're blaming its effect on something else. But yeah, so I think it's just it's an issue maybe with how this mod is set up, or how See and Spray works with fertilizers. I've only ever used See and Spray on the base game of the John Deere Precision Farming sprayer, and I don't know if I've ever sprayed liquid fert with that sprayer with See and Spray. Actually, you can see here the different nozzles kicking in as we run down. So this may be the only other time that I've done it with precision farming, and I don't think I had See and Spray enabled. Actually, was the testing I did. But you can see all the little stripes on the mini map. The other side of the field is infinitely worse, and yeah, I'll show it to you next time. I edited it out in frustration, so. You can sort of see that the the right hand boom, you can see it switching on and off, and that's what's leaving the little gaps. The gaps are much worse on the other side of the field, and that's what makes me think that there's a mismatch between working width and spray width, because I'm running this at 21 meters, so there should be a massive overlap, and there's not. When I bring up the lines are well inside where the spray is happening, so something is not working right. And as I said, I was just too close to it when I was actually recording this to pay attention and realize. I mean, I did grab some footage of this effect close up, but I didn't think what would be causing it. I was just annoyed because, you know, that's the most productive thing to be. But yeah, if I turn and I've kept the camera right, you'll see that they dropped the through. The VCA lines are well inside the spray width of the booms. So anyway, I want to say thank you to the patrons and the YouTube channel members. Really appreciate you guys supporting the channel. You are all awesome. If you want details for any of those, links are below. And if you've enjoyed the video, then click the like button. If you haven't enjoyed it, click the dislike button. We do not smash like buttons here. If you smash it, you have to buy me a coffee. I haven't used that one in a while. Any comments, questions, or suggestions, stick them below. Any thoughts on this sprayer thing before I go in and start ripping bits out of it would be much appreciated. And I think probably next time we will be back on Saxthorpe in this tractor with this piece of kit, but doing herbicide. We'll talk a bit about the cheaty bonuses with applying herbicide when there are no weeds with precision farming, and we'll probably have had the other tractors making some money on the oaks. So I will see you next time, folks, when hopefully things will go much smoother and I will have internet.